guys, welcome to another Rules Per video. Today I'm going to be looking at A Game of Thrones, the board game, 2nd edition. Now I've already actually done a Rules Primer video on this game, so today I'm going to do something a little different. I've set the game up for a 3-player game, and I'm just going to walk through a couple of turns of the game, kind of explaining the rules as I go along. Hopefully that'll make kind of help you see how the game flows and maybe make learning the game a little more interesting than just listening to, me explain the rules. Now, first a disclaimer. I am absolutely clueless about the actual strategy in this game, so keep that in mind. My goal is to kind of show you how the rules work, not how to play well. So I'm going to be, discussing my thought processes as I go through each move, but take that with a grain of salt. All right, let's get started. The first phase of the game is the Westeros phase, where we flip over those Westeros cards, 1, 2, and 3, these cards. But on the first turn of the game, we're going to skip that phase. So we go right into the orders phase. Now in this phase, each player is going to assign an order token face down to one of their units, to a space with units in it. So in this example, well, actually all of them would be placing 3 unit tokens. Baratheon would place 1 in here for his ships, 1 here in the Kingswood, and then 1 back in his home base of Dragonstone. So normally this would be, all players would be doing this at the same time, but I'm going to go one at a time, and I'm going to start with Stark, then do Baratheon, and then do Lannister. So let's start with Stark. Okay, so I have these order tokens that I can place. I'm going to need to place 3 of them. I'm going to need to place 1 here at Winterfell, 1 in the White Harbor, and 1 in Shimmering Sea. Now, if you look over here at the track, I am on the 3rd spot of the King's Court track, so that means I can only place 1 special order. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I decide what I want to do. Now, as far as strategy goes, after I just said don't listen to me about strategy, but the goal of the game is to get these castles. So as Stark, it looks like a good idea would be try to seize Moat Cailin, and then probably make my way over here to Flint's Fingers so I can get these 2 castles. It looks like I don't need to worry about too much about defense at this point, since it would probably take a while for anybody to get enough ships in some areas where they can attack me. So I think a good play might be to move at least some of these units here into Moat Cailin to take this castle. So let's do that. Let's take a march order and start with that. Okay, so I'm going to mobilize all my forces here and place a march order on that one, and on this one, and on that one. Okay, let's move to Baratheon. Let's see, Baratheon has a castle here at Storm's End, but because it's a 3-player game, that area cannot be entered. King's Landing has a castle, but it has a defense of 5, so it might be kind of difficult to take. The Reach is wide open, although that could put me into conflict with Lannister pretty quickly. And then there's also Crackclaw Point, which I could move to on this turn, and then we might end up fighting over Harrenhal with the Lannisters. I'm going to put a march order here so that I can use these ships to move into Crackclaw Point. That's my current plan. And a consolidate power order here. And then I'll just put a raid order on the ships. Okay, that's Baratheon. Now let's look at Lannister. Lannister has River Run here, which is a very tempting target. And then Harrenhal here. Blackwater also has 2 barrels, which would help us if supply came back up, and that would put us in give us the ability to get to the Reach. So that's a tempting target as well. So I think we're going to want to do some moves for sure here. So at least 2 are march orders. A march order there and a march order here. And it might be helpful to move these ships. Well, I would need another ship in this sea area if I wanted to try to take Seaguard. So I'll probably just leave the ship there, just put a raid token on it. Okay, so everybody has placed their tokens. Now we move on to the next step, which is the reveal order step. So everyone flips over their orders. Oops. Okay. To use the messenger raven, the player with that token, which in this case is Lannister, can either swap out a revealed order token with a different unused order token, or they can look at the top card of the Wildling deck. And since swapping out the order tokens isn't really helpful right now, I think the Lannister player will look at the top card of the Wildling deck. So this is a Wildling victory. The loser will have to destroy 2 units. It's a preemptive raid, and the highest bidder will. The Wildlings immediately attack with a strength of 2. You do not participate. So that might be useful, I guess, if you're the highest bidder. So we'll leave that on the top. Next, to resolve any raid orders, and most of these raid orders were just kind of, since there's no enemies around here, it doesn't really help them. So we'll just remove those raid orders. Now, marchers are resolved in turn order, which is based on the Iron Throne track. So Baratheon is first, so we'll resolve his march orders first. So these guys are using the ships in Shipbreaker Bay to march into Crackclaw Point. Ships act as a bridge, sort of. So since we have ships here, we can march right into Crackclaw Point. Now, usually when we're leaving an area, we would want to place a power token there so that we would regain control of it. We would keep control of it. But since this is our home area, it has a power token printed on the board, so we don't have to spend a power token to keep control of that. Now, since we did gain a stronghold, we will move up 1 on the victory track. So Baratheon moves up to number 2. And then next on the track is Lannister. So they have a march order here. So we'll march these 2 into there. They did capture a castle, so I'll move them up 1. And then we'll resolve this march order. That will focus there. Now this is an interesting choice. Should I move here, move up the victory track, but then have to possibly fight next round, or move here for more supply, which gives me an opportunity to get to the Reach? I think I'll take the victory right now and go here into Harrenhal, which moves Lannister up to 3 on the victory track. Okay, and now finally we're at Stark. Stark moves here to Moat Cailin. Oh, I forgot to put a power token here in Stony Sept to to keep control of that area. I have to put a power token. So, okay. So again, this is our home area, so we don't have to put a power token since that is there. And now here, I think I'll march from the White Harbor into Moat Cailin as well. Now when you do that, you have to make sure that we're still in supply. But supply for, supply for Stark allows for 1 army that has 3 units. So since I only have 3 units here, we're still in supply, and that's okay. And then finally, this march order will move the ship here. Okay, after we've resolved march orders, we resolve consolidate power orders, and the only one on the board is here in the Kingswood. Now, since this was a special power order with the star, it could choose to muster units in that area instead of using it as a regular power, consolidate power. But since it doesn't have a stronghold in that area, that it can't really muster there, so he's just going to gain 1 power token plus an extra power token because it has a crown there. So Baratheon will gain 2 power tokens. Add that to his pool. Those power tokens are used to bid on the different parts of the track during the Westeros phase. So having more power tokens than your opponent will allow you to bid higher and maybe win some helpful stuff on that track. Okay, so after that we're going to clean up, and then we're going to start the next turn. Okay, round 2. We start off with the Westeros phase. In this phase, you're going to do a couple things. First, you're going to advance the round marker. So we're now on round 2. Then we're going to reveal the top card from each of the Westeros decks. So mustering, interesting. Clash of Kings. And the Wildlings attack. Okay. I did not stack this deck, but that's a lot of crazy stuff in one round. So now we're going to count up the Wildling icons on all the cards and advance the Wildling marker by that number. And you can see there are none. So we start with mustering. Okay. So mustering means that each player, in turn order, is going to be able to bring new units onto the board for each in spaces that have a stronghold or a castle. So let's see. First up is Baratheon. They have a stronghold in Dragonstone, which means they get 2 mustering points there. Now we have to look at their supply, because right now they can have 1 army with 3 units and 2 armies with 2 units. So they already have 2 armies with 2 units. So that means they can only have 1 army with 3. Sorry about the dogs. Okay, let's go ahead and muster 2 units in Dragonstone, since that's less than 3. They're within their supply. Now next up they have a stronghold in Crackall Point. Oh, actually, no, that's a castle, so they only get 1 mustering point there. They can't actually bring a new unit on, or that would... Actually, no, it wouldn't. They can bring a new unit on. Okay, so Baratheon now has 1 army of 3, 2 armies of 2, and since it's just 1 unit, it doesn't count as an army. And I think they have mustered in all of their locations. So next up is Lannister. Lannister has the same supply limits, but has fewer men. So they can muster up to 2 points here. So they can muster 1 more footman for 1 point. And they can't have an army greater than 3, but they can upgrade one of these footmen. Tyson, hush! Sorry about the dog. Into a knight. Then they get 1 point of mustering there. They can muster a footman. There. And I think that's all of their locations. Oh, no, wait, here. Lannisport, they get 2 points, and they actually can spend both of them on footmen. since that would still keep them in supply. One army of 3 and 2 armies of 2, and since that's a low unit, it doesn't count towards the supply limit. All right, let's go on to Stark. Okay, so Stark has 1 army of 3. They can have 1 army of 2. So they get 2 points at Winterfell. They can muster that army of 2. And now they get 1 point there at White Harbor, which would let them muster 1 point there. And that keeps them in supply. And I think that, oh no, they also get 1 point there, which would let them upgrade one of their units to a knight. Oh wait, trying to grab a knight. Okay, I think I've got all of their strongholds. They've got 1 unit of 3, 1 unit of 2, which matches their supply. These 2 lone units don't count as armies, so they're good there. All right, so I think that's mustering. Next, we do the Clash of Kings. To resolve the Clash of Kings, we first remove all the tokens from the influence tracks. And then each player is going to hide their available power behind their screens. Now each player is going to choose, we're going to start with the Iron Throne track, and each player is going to choose a certain amount of their power tokens, hold them out in a fist, and then when everybody's ready, reveal how many they bid. Then after that's done, we're going to place them on the track, and then we'll move on to the next track. Any ties are resolved by the player that holds the Iron Throne token, which in this case is Baratheon. Okay, so that's how it's done. Since it's just me, I'm just going to kind of maybe we'll discuss the strategy a little bit. So Baratheon would like to remain first on the Iron Throne track, but would also kind of like to get first on the fiefdoms track, so that he can resolve ties in combat, since there's a good chance there's going to be some combat this round. And he knows he has more power tokens than everybody else, so maybe he'll bid maybe 3 on the first one. Stark only has 4 power tokens, so I doubt he would want to bid that much on that first one. Maybe 1. Maybe Lannister would try to move up, bid 2. Which would make Baratheon, then Lannister, then Stark. And then on the next one, maybe he would bid 2. Maybe Stark would bid 2 as well. Lannister would not bid. Baratheon would win because he breaks ties. So Baratheon, Stark, Lannister. And then maybe Baratheon wouldn't bid on this one. Stark wouldn't bid either. And maybe none of them would bid. In which case, Baratheon would also win that one. So, you know how this plays out depends on the players and the strategies and all that. So, it's not very easy to do on doing solo. But I think, you want to keep some of your power tokens, because otherwise you can't keep control of lands when you leave them. Okay, so that's the Clash of Kings. Now we redistribute tokens, and Baratheon makes out like a bandit in this one. Maybe the real players wouldn't actually let him get away with that, but he gets all 3 of the tokens because he's the first on each track. Okay, now let's do a waddling attack. Okay, since this waddling attack came right after a Clash of Kings, everyone's power tokens have been depleted. So hopefully the players, for the sake of Westeros, are a little smarter than I was and save some of their power tokens. But luckily for them, the wildling track's only on the number 1. So as long as one person bids 1 power token, the wildlings are going to be defeated. Now there's a good chance, you know how players are, that nobody's going to bid even 1. But I'm going to say that Baratheon, for the good of the realm, bid 1 token. And the wildlings were defeated. So, let's see. Okay, wildling victory, no. Night's Watch victory, highest bidder. The wildlings immediately attack again with a strength of 6. You do not participate in the bidding against this attack, nor do you receive any rewards or penalties. Okay, so this actually, you know, Baratheon, I think, yeah, was it Baratheon? One of the players actually looked at this card, so they would have actually known that was coming, which might have made them bid the rest of their power tokens if it was Lannister. But anyway, so the wildlings are going to attack again with a strength of 6. Now, nobody can, with Baratheon not in the bidding, perhaps Lannister would bid 1 just so that he wouldn't be the lowest bidder. Seems like maybe a smart thing to do. So the wildlings are going to win this time. Let's see what happens now. Okay, wildling victory, lowest bidder. Okay, that Stark is reduced 2 positions on the supply track to no lower than 0. Ow, that is going to be painful. So since he's been reduced on the supply track, Stark has to immediately destroy a unit so that he's still in supply, which means he's going to have to lose a unit here. So the wildlings poured over the wall and destroyed, somehow made it all the way to Moat Cailin to kill one of the units. And let's see. Everyone else, okay, focus please. Everyone else is reduced 1 position on the supply track to no lower than 0. Then reconcile armies to their supply limit. Okay, so this, wow, Baratheon really lucked out on this one. Baratheon's getting lucky. So that reduces Lannister to 3 armies, 3 and a 2, which means he's going to have to kill one of his units as well. I think he would want to take away that one so that he stays in supply. Okay, so that's the wildling card. We've now resolved all 3 Westeros cards, and it's now time for the order phase. Let's see what we want to do. Okay, it's time to lay out orders. Knowing Stannis Baratheon, it seems obvious to me that he would want to attack. So, I'm just going to put the +1 march order there. And I'm thinking that maybe he would want to move, reinforce Kingswood with 1 more unit so that he could try to either take Storms. Oh no, he can't take Storms in, but he could attack the Reach next turn. So I'll put that there. And then in the Kingswood, he can consolidate power. Put that there. And not going to do anything in the Shipbreaker, so I'll just put that there. Okay, let's look at Lannister. Now, it would be nice if Lannister could get one of his soldiers in Harrenhal to defend, but since Baratheon moves first on the turn order, he's going to attack first, so that's probably not going to happen. But Lannister can do 1 starred order, so he'll do the +2 defend order in Harrenhal, and then he can do a support order here at Riverrun, so at least he's getting those units in there. Now at Lannisport, maybe he could march that unit into Stony Sept so that the next turn he'd be in a situation to maybe at least support. And then the ship, Perhaps the ship could actually move here. It might be a more useful space for him, so we'll go ahead and put a march order on him as well. Okay, I think I got all the Lannister troops. Let's look at Stark. So Stark probably might want to take Flint's Finger over here, maybe. So we'll put a march order on them. Oh wait, or Seaguard. Seaguard's right there with that'll put him in conflict with Lannister, but that might be more interesting for our purposes anyway. And we'll go ahead and put a march order on these guys as well. I'm trying to figure out what the unit in the White Harbor might want to do. It'd be nice if Stark could consolidate power to get some power tokens. Man, I guess I might as well do that. We're only going to get one token because there's nothing on the board, but I'll go ahead and put that there. And the ship probably wants to stay here. And I think that's it for Stark. Okay, so now let's reveal the orders. Just flip them all over. Okay, raid orders go first. This raid order is not actually going to do anything. This raid order is not actually going to do anything. I think that's it. Okay, march order, starting in turn order. So, we'll start with these guys. So, we'll leave one there. And march in there. And now we get to do some combat. So first we count up the initial combat strength. So Baratheon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has 5 points. Lannister has 1, 2, 3, 4, plus support from this one. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So maybe Stannis got a little overconfident on this battle. So it's 5 to 9. Now there's no other support units or support available. So we go to combat cards. Baratheon will probably want to pull out his big guns. That's really his only hope. So we'll just use Stannis. But Lannister could also use Tywin for 4 as well, or try to cause some casualties using Sir Clegor, which I think I kind of like that idea, and make them pay for trying to attack them. Okay, so the combat cards are secretly, put face down and then revealed. So we calculate Baratheon with 4, so a total of 9. Versus Lannister's 9 plus 3 is 12. So Lannister has won the battle, and they do 3 swords of damage. And Baratheon has no fortification icons, so that means it has to take 3 points worth of losses. Spoke there, it's not 3 points worth of losses, it's 3 casualties, which means Baratheon's entire army gets wiped out. So as I mentioned before, don't listen to me on strategy, but that's kind of fitting to the books. Stannis thought he was favored by the Red God after all that winning on the track, and now he's marched his army to its death. So anyway, that's it for combat. Now let's see. That was this march order. And next up, let's see, Lannister does have any march orders? It does have a march order. It's going to march that one into there. Stark's march order was going to march these in here, which actually gains him another point on the victory track. And then Baratheon's other march order was here, and now he can actually march one here just to try to defend that. Or actually, it might be better to march both of them to defend that now. Okay, that's that march order. I think I was going to move this one here for that march order. And then finally, these two guys were going to move there. Now that's all for the march orders. What else is left? There's a couple of consolidate power. So this one on Baratheon gets 1 point plus this one icon for a total of 2. So he'll draw 2 power tokens. So now he has at least some power. And Stark was consolidating power here, even though he only gets 1 point. One's better than nothing. And then we remove these two off the board. And I think that's it for round 2. Now it's time to start round 3. So we move the round marker up. Then we flip over the top card of each one of these. Supply, adjust the supply track and reconcile armies. Game of Thrones, each player collects 1 power token for each power icon printed on areas he controls. And Sea of Storms, raid orders cannot be played during the planning phase. Okay, so we count up the number of wildling icons. There's 1, so the wildling track's going to move up. And now the wildlings will attack at least power of 2 if they attack. Okay, let's do supply. We'll start with Stark. He has 1. Two. That's it. Okay, well, that's better than what he's got now. He moves up to 2 on the track. Now Lannister has 1, 2, 3. So Lannister will also move up to 3. And Baratheon has 1, 2, 2. So he stays at 2. Now we have to reconcile armies. I think everybody moved up, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Lannister has 3 and 3, 2, no problem there. Baratheon's limited armies has 2 armies of 2, so he's definitely okay. And then Stark has 2 units of 2 as well, so they're good. Okay, so that's supply. Now Game of Thrones. Each player collects 1 power token for each power icon printed. So nothing there, nothing there, 1 there. So Stark gets 1 power token. Lannister has 1, 2, 3. So Lannister gets 3. And finally Baratheon has 1, 2. There it gets 2 power tokens. Dropped it. And then last, the Sea of Storms. Raid orders cannot be played. That's just something that we need to keep in mind during the turn. Okay, so I think I've shown you now a couple of turns. We've seen a battle, maybe not a super complicated battle, but we've seen a battle, how it works. We've seen most of the major Westeros cards. We've seen the Clash of Kings, and we've seen Supply and Mustering. And that's pretty much, we didn't go over a whole lot of the battle cards, but each one of those is different, so you just kind of have to read those and figure out the best time to use them. So I think you should kind of have an idea at least how the rules work. Now, as far as, like I said, as far as how strategy works, you'll have to figure that out on your own. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Happy gaming.